So when I asked the last network admin for his network diagram, he gave me this. I know it's kind of funny, but it could actually be worse even in your environment. Sometimes the network admin leaves unpleasantly. He was fired in some cases, and you're hired as his replacement. And if he was fired, he probably wasn't doing a very good job. He may not have a network diagram at all, and he may not be answering his phone anymore because obviously he was let go. This is something that happens all the time. I do this on a regular basis. I get somebody to call me, hey, help, we need to, our guy has left. We need somebody to come take over things. And so performing a network discovery is a very common thing. So by the time we're done here, we're going to learn how to create a network diagram or perform network discovery using CDP and LLDP. So we have an advantage, and that is we have a network diagram. Oh, there it is, that we've got in front of us and we've been using very often. But what I'd like to do is walk you through the process of, let's just say, the administrator. It was me. I admit it. I was fired from administering the Arizona network. I'm out. There's no network diagram. So instead of seeing something like this, you see something like that, a blank sheet of paper. What do you do? I mean, where do you go when you run into that? Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out a jump off point in the network. A router, a core switch is what I usually go to. And I'm like, okay, show me where all your IT equipment is. I'm like, okay, let's pick that one. Console into that, because you may not even know the IP addressing scheme of the network. And hopefully they've got passwords somewhere. If not, there's no way around it. You're going to have to tell them, hey, prepare for a network outage. I've got to reboot this device and do password recovery on it. And you'll probably have to do that for a lot of devices unless you can get the password out of the configuration, meaning it's not encrypted, and then you can use that to access all the devices. So I'm going to assume in this case that we have a password to the network devices, which a good responsible manager of that guy that just got fired would have asked for, right? So I'm going to say in this case that we are going to start from this. I just picked this router right here as our start off point. You can see that I plugged in the network cable to it. So now what? Well, I got my blank sheet of paper. I'm going to open up my console prompt, and I'm going to access this device. So I'll log in and say, okay, let's log in. I've got my password because I had a good manager. And at first command, I will always type, forget CDP and LLDP, is show IP interface brief, because I want to get a lay of the land. And I tried to shrink this down so I had a little drawing room. Let's see if there we go. That looks better. So I get a lay of the land of what this is. So I would go, okay, I'm on, draw my little router right here, AZRT01. And we haven't configured this all the way yet. It would typically have an internet connection coming off there. But I would see, just based on this, I'd go, okay, it looks like I've got a VLAN interface. Okay, I'm seeing it. So based on my knowledge of networks, I would go, okay, I've got an ether switch module plugged in there. So I would put right there, this is a 192.168.1.1 slash, and I would assume it's a /24, but if I wasn't sure, I would just go in and do a show IP interface. And I would look and I'd go, okay, there it is. Yep, it is a /24. So I'd add that on there, /24. Good. Now is where I'd reach for my CDP and LLDP. I'd go show CDP neighbors. I'm going to use CDP for this whole thing because that's enabled on most Cisco devices by default. LLDP may not be turned on. So I've got this neighbor. I'm like, oh, great, liquid gold. So I would go, okay, so this guy is actually connected to two different switches. And I would know their switches because I'm looking at this platform and I'm seeing C, that's Catalyst 3750. But I'll show you how to figure that out if you don't know that model number. So I've got my switch here, and I go, okay, so switch 1. So we'll just call that the switch 1. This guy's switch 2, AZ switch 2. Okay, it looks like I'm connected on fast Ethernet to 2. That'd be 0/0/1, right? I'm looking at switch 2. My local interface is 001. Are you seeing what I'm doing here, right? I'm building a network diagram. Fast Ethernet 0/0/0 is right here, connected to switch 1. And I would absolutely fill in the remote interfaces. This goes to fast Ethernet 1/0/1. And this goes to fast Ethernet 2/0/1. Again, just lining it up. There's the remote port ID. Good. Good, good. Let me erase that stuff out of there. Now, I would say, okay, well, show me, and I could do this one of two ways. Show CDP entry. I mean, sometimes you'll do show CDP neighbors, and you'll have literally pages of information of stuff you're connected to, because like IP phones show up there, servers can show up there, and it's like, too much. So you might be better off to say show CDP entry, and just type in the name of the device that you want to see, AZ switch 1. You could also type in show CDP neighbor detail and get this same stuff, but you'll get it for all the devices. This lets you pick one. So you go, okay, ooh, great, great, great. I see it's AZ switch 1. If you were unsure of the platform before, you got it right there. There's your 3750 48 port switch. So you go, okay, this guy is actually .2 is his IP address. And I come back here and I go, okay, well, show me the show CDP entry for switch number 2. Okay, great. that worked out well with my markings there. So this guy is .3. Awesome. Okay, I've gotten all the information that I can get from this router. So that's where I'm now going to go. Okay, let me telnet over to 192.168.1.2. Let's check out switch 1. Get logged in there. And now I do the show CDP neighbors again. And I go, oh, okay, I'm seeing this. So it looks like switch 1 is connected to switch 2 twice, right? And I'm like, I think you're getting the idea, right? This is where I would write in the interfaces right there. It's just too small in my little crunch diagram. I go, oh, great, looks like a switch 3. So this guy has a connection up here to another switch 3. And this, by the way, guys, this can take hours, if not multiple days, depending on the size of the network. But usually, the larger the network, the more competent the network engineer. So the more chance there either would be a redundant person that would have that network diagram. A redundant person, like I speak in network terms, like, yeah, you're totally redundant, man. I mean, another coworker, right? How about that? That's a human way of saying it. That would know the network and have the network diagram. The larger the network is. So usually, if you're at one administrator, I would say at most maybe 100 network devices. In that you can do, depending on the situation you're walking into, and probably a full day of just doing this network discovery. So this is where I would put in my switch 3. And I think you got the idea. So I would fill in all the ports, based on what I'm seeing right here. And then I would telnet to that device, do the same command. And I would find out there's a connection there. Piece by piece I would go until I would reveal, in my own little pen sort of way, the full network diagram, which you and I know behind the scenes because we had this charted out from early on when we cabled this whole network together. So that is how you use CDP and LLDP to create a network diagram or perform network discovery and build essentially the network topology so that you can reference it later on. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.